everyone, my name is Story Deweese, and I'm a technical marketing engineer at Cisco. Today, I'm going to discuss how to connect a teleworker to the public cloud using SSL VPN with the Catalyst 8000V. In this video, I will cover an introduction to the Cisco Catalyst 8000V platform, a brief introduction to SSL VPN, and show the procedure of how to install a Cisco Catalyst 8000V in Microsoft Azure, provision SSL configurations on the Catalyst 8000V, and connect an AnyConnect VPN client to the Catalyst 8000V to verify that the session has indeed been established. So first, let's talk about the Cisco Catalyst 8000V platform. This is a virtual router, and it has versatile network connectivity options. In our case, we're going to deploy a public cloud with a remote worker. It's infrastructure agnostic, meaning that any hypervisor and any cloud are compatible with the Cisco Catalyst 8000V. It has seamless SD-WAN extensions to the cloud, and note here that the Cisco Catalyst 8000V is a single image for both autonomous and controller mode. We'll be using autonomous in this example. Lastly, the Cisco Catalyst 8000V has service richness. So now we'll move on to the topology that we'll be using for this example. In this case, we have our teleworkers over on the left who are trying to access our virtual network, which is hosted within the public cloud. Our users will access AnyConnect client and they'll provide their credentials, so their username and password. And once they're verified, they are authenticated and authorized and able to access our Catalyst 8000V. The virtual router will then allow the users to access information within the subnet. This is the topology of what we're creating today, and there are many other use cases for a Cisco Catalyst 8000V as well. Next, we're going to talk more specifically about SSL VPN. This is the Secure Sockets Layer Virtual Private Network. We're using this to allow teleworkers to establish a secure VPN tunnel. SSL VPN has flexible authentication, authorization, and accounting, or AAA. This allows us to take in the username and password for a user into AnyConnect and create an SSL VPN connection. In the public cloud near users, SSL VPN allows easy options to replicate and scale applications. And lastly, this can all be done using current AnyConnect deployments, which means there's no need to download or install a new AnyConnect client, and instead, we can reuse existing configurations. Next, we'll go to Microsoft Azure to set up our Catalyst 8000V. In the marketplace, we'll search for Cisco Catalyst 8000V Edge software. From the drop-down menu, we'll select BOYL, which stands for Bring Your Own License. I'm selecting a resource group that has previously been created. Another option is to create your own resource group. Next, we'll give our virtual machine a name and select the password option, which will allow us to use a username and password when SSHing into the Catalyst 8000V. For the rest of the settings, we'll be using defaults that are previously provided. Now, we can create our Cisco Catalyst 8000V. It will take a little bit of time to deploy. Once the deployment is complete, we can go to our resource. On the left, select the Networking tab and add an additional inbound port rule. For the source, we'll use any. For the destination, we'll use an asterisk to indicate all port ranges. We'll leave the priority as is. Lastly, we will provide a name for this security rule. This inbound port rule will allow us to upload files directly to our Catalyst 8000V. We're going to use an XML file, and we're going to modify it to have the public IP address and name of the Catalyst 8000V that we've just created. We're also going to check our AnyConnect client version number, and then go to software.cisco.com to find the correct version. Currently, I'm on a Mac, so I will use the Mac OS version with the correct version number. I will download this, and I'll be uploading this to the Cisco Catalyst 8000V itself. Next, we're going to upload the package that we just downloaded from software.cisco.com. And as a reminder, this is the same version number as the version of AnyConnect that I have installed on this machine. So I'm just copying it securely right now to the boot flash directory on the Catalyst 8000V, and this will take a little bit of time. And now you can see that it is 100% installed on the Cisco Catalyst 8000V. We'll now go through the same process with a different file. We need an SSL profile, which is stored in an XML file. You can see a template on this URL at github.com. Now we can SSH into our Cisco Catalyst 8000V. We're using the public IP address and the password we set up in Microsoft Azure. The first command we'll use is crypto key generate. So we want to generate an RSA key to securely encrypt data. Next, we will configure the crypto PKI trust point. Afterwards, we will set the subject names CN, this is the canonical name, or alias, to be the public IP address. We're going to give a revocation check none, and set the RSA key pair to AnyConnect. Our next configuration is crypto PKI enroll AnyConnect VPN, and this will give us a few prompts. In terms of generating a self-signed certificate, we want to say yes. We want to say no to the serial number, no to the subject name, and finally, yes to generating a self-signed router certificate. HTTP secure server is set by default, so we want to change that to be no IP HTTP secure server. Now for our AAA configurations, we have AAA new model, AAA authentication login default local, AAA authentication login SSL VPN local. We'll set up a username and password. Username will be AnyConnect, and then the password, which should be on the same line here, this will be in plain text AnyConnect123. SSL VPN requires a DNA Premier license, license boot level network Premier, add-on DNA Premier. Then you'll need to exit out of your configurations, write this, and reload your Cisco Catalyst 8000V. Be sure to save the following configurations to keep everything that we've just configured. Once the reload is complete, we can log back in, check that all of our configurations are there, and continue on with our configs. Next, we have AAA authorization network SSL VPN local crypto SSL proposal SSL VPN proposal. In terms of encryption, we will include RSA AES 120 SHA-1 and RSA AES 256 SHA-1. Next, we will define our client pool. So we're going to use the configuration IP local pool, and we'll name it SSL client. Next, we need to go to find our private IP address. So here ours is 10.0.4.4 and continue to 10.0.4.20. Oh yes, as you can see here, our private IP address is already been defined, so we need to change our starting IP address to one above that. We will now create an access list using IP access list standard SSL VPN tunnel. We will permit the following IP addresses. To configure our SSL VPN policy, we'll configure crypto SSL policy SSL VPN policy. We will use SSL proposal, SSL VPN proposal, PKI trust point AnyConnect sign, IP address local, and we will use the private IP address of our Cisco Catalyst 8000V 10.0.4.4. We'll be using port 443 with no shutdown. To configure our SSL authorization policy, we use the configuration crypto SSL authorization policy SSL VPN auth policy. Next, we will run the following commands. To create an SSL profile, we will use client profile and name it Catalyst 8000V VPN. Next, we'll use the pool that we created previously using the configuration pool SSL_client. We will use DNS 8.8.8.8, which is the Google default DNS. Next, we will create a banner message to welcome users after successfully logging in. Finally, we will use route set access list SSL VPN tunnel. To configure our SSL VPN profile, we will use crypto SSL profile SSL VPN profile, match policy SSL VPN policy, AAA authentication user pass list SSL VPN, and AAA authorization group user pass list SSL VPN SSL auth policy. Next, we will use authentication remote user pass. Max users we will set to 100, and we will use no shutdown. To complete our configurations, next, we will use Crypto VPN AnyConnect boot flash and the location of where we have installed the AnyConnect package on our Catalyst 8000V. We'll also use sequence 1. Once that's installed successfully, you can go through a similar process for the SSL profile using Crypto VPN AnyConnect profile, and then name the profile that you would like to use. In this case, I'll use Cisco Catalyst 8000V because that's the name of the XML file that I have stored in boot flash. After naming the profile, we can then describe where we would like this profile to be found. In our case, it's boot flash and the file Catalyst 8000V VPN, which again is what we have previously stored. Now we're ready to test the connection between our Cisco Catalyst 8000V and AnyConnect. Using the public IP address, I can paste this into AnyConnect, and you'll see that it automatically changes to Cisco Catalyst 8000V, which is what we had set it to in our SSL profile. Logging in with the credentials we set, you can see that we're able to view the welcome banner that we created, and now I'll show that the session was indeed established using the show crypto SSL session user Cisco. So here you can see that the number of connections is 1 because we have just logged in using our credentials for the user with username Cisco. I can also disconnect here. You can see the full running configs at www.github.com/csr1000v/catalyst8000v. I hope you found this demo useful and informative. If you'd like to learn more about the Cisco Catalyst 8000V, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, thank you for watching.